We're on, Mr. Sinclair.
Are we up now?
Yep.
Oh, we're on. That's good.
Everybody talked themselves out while we were getting ready, folks. So we're a little slow on the uptake. Here
Yeah, a little bit. Been talking for 2 hours straight. About nothing.
About absolutely nothing. Yeah. Typical Texas conversation.
Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, even the conversation.
Even especially the conversation. So anyway, we're gonna talk about a topic that's I'm getting more and more aware of. It's not. Nobody knows about it, and that's the techniques that we use to train guard dogs, because they're the basic foundation for them was how we started when I was like 15, 14 years old, trying to get dogs to be REN 1010, and sort of everything we did back then is still part of what you do with guard dogs today. So, first off, we just got back from Mississippi. Daryl Thornton, bless his heart, he did a great job. We had a great trial. I'll be doing a write-up on it on our Facebook page this week.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a blow-by-blow of how it went. We had some tough dogs. We had some surprise dogs. We had some world-class dogs. It was a really nice trial.
Yep, well organized and well executed. Good job, Daryl.
Yeah, great job. So I'll do a write-up on my Facebook page, give you all an idea, put up some videos. Maybe we'll do a little bit more on that later. And this is all in prep for the big fall show we're going to do here. We've always done a finals in the fall. We're going to do a big show in the fall. It won't be a finals because we're not going to have that many trials to qualify. But we got a few people talking about doing some shows in some other nearby southern states. So if they follow through, I won't mention any places or names until we know that they're following through. We'll let you know. But it was a fun trial, and the Western Shepherds did us proud, I think, safe to say. So anyway, how do you get them that way? What's unique about the way we do? Scott, you've been looking at a bunch of videos, especially since you got a chance to visit with some of the police officers there, about their way of training and how they train. What's your takeaway on what you see about the difference between the way we're doing things from the guard dog world to the police dog or sport world?
That's starting them, how they start them. It's different. So, and a lot of, I wouldn't say missteps, but there's a difference from where the confidence building is being done. So, just different outlook, I guess, different things. I mean, we're more basically direct the dogs, it's baby steps. And there's certain techniques that I'll use to ensure courage, bite changing, and reading the dogs to where their confidence is building to where you can get in on them and everything else, which a lot of that's the same. But it's just my favorite thing to use is what's there to your right over there. And burlap sacks. They are amazing. Typically I always use them on a flirt pole. And I always thought, well, it's on a flirt pole, so we're going to use it on when you start doing your hand dives and your walk-ins on them to get the distance closed up between the gap closed between you and the dog, and the confidence is building up, the bite's improving. I thought, well, maybe just the common denominator that we're doing is the burlap sack. It's not all of it, but it's part of it. So, and then proper technique on using the burlap sack, and what do you always say, Bush? The dog always wins.
Yep, always.
And there's a fine line between winning and pushing.
Mm-hmm.
So
winning and what?
Pushing.
Pushing. Remember that word, folks. Important.
Because the dog needs to push himself, and pushing is basically when he's pulling. You're not pushing him. You're not forcing the dog. You're giving him a chance to think, and he's winning.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, this martial art we talk about, and when we're training with the leg work and the bite and the zoning and everything else, all bases off that first few months. You start using that, and I mean, I've done dogs all the way up till they were ready for sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And kept using sacks. I just wanted to see. Remember we did those two dogs? That
Yeah.
one shepherd, and
That's
there's a
right.
Roddy too.
Right, Roddy.
We did those dogs, and I went all the way up. They were ready for the sleeves. They bit the sleeves, but they just did all that work, outs, everything else, with the burlap. So, I mean, it's very fundamental, but it's practical, fundamental, but to me, it's a necessity. You can use those dog tugs or whatever you want.
Sure.
Wedges.
They
You
all
can go to
work.
wedges before you go in, and you go into sleeves. But then there's a whole point of the transition point between the burlap and the puppy sleeve. And that, to me, it's not more about confidence than it is about texture and confidence to bite that apparatus, because it's different.
Right.
And that's usually without an arm in it, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Then you get them used to, it's just a whole building process. We could, sit there and write a book about it, but it's the fundamentals you use along with how you're training and how you're agitating and how you're putting pressure on the dog, which at that point there's no real pressure being applied.
Right.
Minute pressure, but not,
No.
I mean, to me, just that sleeve coming in is pressure enough.
Right. Right. There's excitement. So here's your first canine secret guard dog training tip. Secret that I've never seen anyone else mention. What it appears everybody does today is excite a Malinois, which ain't hard to do.
They're excited when they're born.
Yeah,
How do you calm one down?
yes, that's so you excite them enough and you fling this out there and they grab it. And then you say that, this German Shepherd ain't got it, this Doberman ain't got it, because they're not going to fall for that. They're not that quick, okay? So one thing that, first off, you get them excited. That's what this sack does. It wiggles, it moves, it does things. And then when you're using your sack, Scott's specialty is transition young pups from this to a sleeve. What this allows you to do is to go in and start working a dog with something that excites them while they're looking at your face. So it starts them right off with the game by thinking about the man. Now, when you want them to bite this, if you present it and take it away, present it and take it away, they're going to start snapping at it, right? If you just present it and hold it, and how many of you have seen all your decoys do that? They go on the field, they go out there, if they're in a sleeve or suit, makes no difference. They run up, they stand square right in front of the dog, and they go, "Bite me here." Or excuse me, today's world, "Bite me here, bite me here." Dogs don't listen to that, and they're not really interested in what you have to tell them. If they're excited, the whole secret to getting a man-stopping beast is to have him reacting to the person's movements in front of him and the command that he's given. So you want him deciding, I want to bite this. Tip number one, you never give a dog a bite. You take the chance away. It's tip number one. Tip number two, this is the most important when you're working young dogs. Whenever you have a dog excited, if you fling something over the top of his head, they'll always snap at something going over the top of their head. Now, what that gives you the opportunity to do is get him excited. You have motion. You go in, you come out. You go in, you come out. You look at the dog, you put the sack down, you go, nah, 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 nah. So he's thinking about you as much as he's thinking about this target. Now he's all excited. And all you have to do is make like you're giving it, but just as he snaps, take it away. Make like you're giving it, and he goes to snap, take it away. He's really getting pumped now, and what you're going to do is you fling it right over the top of his head, and I promise you right now, 9 out of 10 dogs that you work for the next 17 years will go ahead and bite at that thing flinging over their head. And as soon as they bite it, what are you going to do? You're going to take it away. Give a slight pull, not enough to pull it away from him, but enough to make him sink his teeth, because this is the absolute, no exception, always number one rule of canine. Dogs cannot ever find an exception to this rule, and that rule is simple. If it's in my mouth, it's mine. So if you start, as soon as he snaps at it, you give a little light tug to pull away, that dog is going to bite down. And that's how we start teaching them to bite hard and to actually dig in with their feet and start pulling. That's the first basics of all guard dogs. If a dog is coming up in here to bite a man and hanging from his chest, it's kind of like they're hanging here, they got maybe their back feet on the ground. But, you know, the purpose of a dog taking out a man is to bite so hard that that person just quits. And how hard does that dog bite when you got him up in the air hanging by his mouth? He's not biting, he's hanging. Think of it like this. They got 4 legs, we got 2 legs. That dog can bite as hard with 2 legs up in the air as a man can punch standing on 1 foot. And that ain't very hard. So you can start off getting that dog on the ground, teaching him how to pull. And that's where we start with all of our dogs.
And another thing, when you said you're initiating the bite with the tongue and he hits it, you need to focus on the dog's positioning, his tension, and know when to release and let him win. That is crucial. It's crucial because that all of a sudden that engages. You know how we want the dogs to be pulling when they take a man down, take him down, and they're dragging him. It all starts right there because he's gonna automatically go down. What does the dog do when he pulls back? He's gonna pull on all 4 legs, and when he goes, it's just timing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to see it. You know, you don't cut him loose on the in pull. You let him go when he starts to go. And the young ones, any resistance, whoop.
Yep.
And you start building like that. That's small, but it all transitions into the man stopping fighting style that we're trying to achieve here with these man stoppers. You know.
And that, speaking of fighting style, let's go up to. Now this is a video you've all seen before. This is my old partner, Coach Keith.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Thomas Raven. If I can make this work here. Okay, canine martial arts, where the dog takes the bite. Can you turn the sound off? So I want you to watch real close. Yep. Can we back that up, Carolyn? We'll wait and do it on the next one. I'll show you there you go. Okay.
Back it up?
No, go ahead. We'll let it roll.
Okay.
I want to show you a little something how I know this dog is fighting this man. On the next series where he's also going to come at him kicking, and you see how this poor decoy didn't have a chance with his arms. We'll watch this one here. He comes in kicking. Oh, you can't see it from here. He had his better target. Dogs always prefer upstairs to downstairs. So when you teach them to bite legs, because you have to, you never have to worry if someone tries to go for them, they will break loose unless you train them only to bite legs, which you do for a French ring competition. Now this may show what I was wanting to explain or show everybody. So French ring, getting a leg bite, staying on it, perfect. On the street, not so much. You can't see it here. Let's go back to that first bite. Okay, right there, on the leg. Now before you go, back it up a little bit more. Okay, right. You good, let it go. Can you stop it?
But you're going to have this arrow.
We're going to lose our light. Okay, I'm going to watch. Okay, here we go. All right, right there.
The dog was looking up.
Yep. You see that dog's eyes? Back it up again.
Turn his eyes up a bit.
Uh-huh. Back it up when he's on the leg.
Right there.
Right there. You see him looking up?
Mm-hmm.
He's picking his target just like a boxer, and he goes for it. That's how we know this dog is thinking while he's on the bite. This guy didn't wave a bunch of stuff around or holler, "Yoo-hoo, come get this." This dog knows that to disable a human, you've got to take their hands away, their main weapons away. Dogs in a dog fight, if you watch, a dog with experience will go for that other dog's front legs almost every time first. Troy's shaking his head. Yeah, he's seen it. I've seen it. So there's certain instinctual things dogs do when they fight, and this is one of them. Cochise does. He knows once he takes a man's legs, especially if he gets him on the ground, disabling happens when he takes away his ability to use those hands. I'll shut up and let y'all watch this one.
Do they instinctively know the vulnerable spots?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
means they just know that.
exactly.
He timing it. He was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Straight for the head.
just like a pack of wolves instinctively know to go for the jugular.
When they're going for the prey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and you see, he always pulls. He stays completely out of harm's way. And remember, this guy didn't sit down as a trap to catch the dog off guard. He didn't have no choice. So that's yeehaw. So once you've got the wheel, once you've got your fighting style down for your dog, then there's another aspect you have to look at it, especially in the guard dog business. This is not going to be so important in a personal protection dog, but let's face it. I mean, I've pulled up on sites and going to get a dog out of the site and hear a voice holler, "Hey, hey, mister," or many times, "Senor, senor," you know, we're in Mexico. And I'm looking around because I hear a voice and they're hollering from inside a dumpster, you know, where they had to get in to get away from the dogs. Or they're, you know, maybe they jumped into maybe they're on the roof of a car in a used car lot. Because for my guard dogs, not only did they have to engage a man, but before they engaged him, they had to run him down and stop him. And just like nobody that sees a dog coming at them holds their arm up like this and says, "Here, here, here," people that see a dog running towards them rarely.
Stick around and find out what's going to happen, right?
Yes, they're not interested in finding the answer to that. So there's certain athletic skills that we teach a dog, things you can do. Remember, the way we train these guard dogs is no different than the way you train an MMA fighter, a boxer, a Shotokan black belt fighter. So we can go, this will give you a little example. And by the way, this one you can see on Instagram for those of you that I'm coming into the 21st century. We're putting videos up on Instagram now and TikTok, so check out Capel K9 and such places. I just tap this, right, Carol Ann? Tap open.
Just tap.
Now this is one strictly, we can't stop or slow this one down, I was told, so. This guy set his arm out there like a trap, but you see where, when he stepped to the side, you see where Taza nailed him. I don't know, can they hear this? Can they hear the volume?
No, I can turn it up.
Yeah, turn it up, let's do it.
Okay.
And
So yeah, I'm talking
Taza.
about high center mass. You cannot dodge that stuff. So you can see that dog change position in midair.
Yep.
Do we replay automatically, Carol Ann, or do we?
You have to read.
We track it. Here we go. Here we go. You see him going to one side just as the dog launches. And now someone wouldn't wear a baggy jacket, the dog might not get a bite there, but she damn sure scraped the front of his belly off. So by teaching them to go high center mass, we cut away half of the dodging ability that someone has. We take it away. See, she's constantly pulling away. She's going to keep herself out of harm's way. Thank you, ma'am. So these are some of the skills that we try to instill in all of our dogs that we train. I want to train a dog, if it's going to be your personal protection dog, for instance. Rarely are you ever going to come across a situation where you're going to send your dog after somebody without, getting yourself in trouble. But you can run across that situation where someone breaks into and this happened I'm going to change it a little bit, but I had a customer who had a Rottie that I trained for him, went off for a 3-day weekend down to Padre Island, came back and pulled in Sunday night late and saw the lights burning in the house, had his dog with him, with the family, pulls in the driveway, looks over at his wife and says, "You didn't turn off the lights." And wife looks over and said, "I turned off all the lights before we left." "No, look, the lights are on in the living room. It's been burning all weekend." And about that time, the light went dark. Someone was in there. Now, in this particular case, he had his dog and he did the right thing. He backed his car up out of the driveway, backed it up a couple of houses, called 911, took his dog out, because whenever we sell a dog for a personal protection dog, we put every owner through a tactical handler's course. So he backed the car up, got the family out of harm's way. Wife called 911, called the cops. He went back to his house, stood in the front with his dog in case this person comes. They didn't know how he got in, and they heard some noise. Dogs reacted, started barking. He ran over to the side where he had a side gate, had a big privacy fence, and just in time to see the guy going over the fence into an alley and taking off. And they went in the house. Then the cops pulled up. They sent the dog in to do a building search, made sure everything was safe. Got inside. He was short some laptops, electronics, and some jewelry. But that would have been a situation, had he knew the guy was going to bolt out of the back door, he could have been waiting at that back gate into his backyard. When the person took off running, he could have stopped him. Tactically, he did the right thing. You put yourself out in front of the house where you can watch all potential exits, because you got to assume you can't get to the back anyway. You're going to assume he's going to come out this way. And he was covered for that. And even in that situation, you'd have had to send the dog to stop the person, more likely. So, even though, and I totally agree with all the people who talk about, your dog should scare people off, you should never send them for a bite. But in the real world, you don't know how it's going to happen. And you might have to. Right,
Yep,
Scott?
you might have. You never know. You never know, so we do the scenario,
There you go. We never know, so we do the scenarios. That's
There
a
it
good way
is.
to put it. So, all of this type of training, remember what I said, if you're starting a young dog, and gosh, over the years I've been told, someone said, if you breed 2 champions together and you get 10 dogs in a litter, only one will be a champion. You go, what? You don't think so, Scott?
You get 10 dogs. They're all different. but
Yeah.
they can all be, maybe not be the number one champion, but they can all be a champion for somebody.
That's right. And remember this, in the wild, left to their own, if something attacks a dog, it's going to stand up for its territory or its pack. What we're doing and the way we go about it is simply triggering the dog's natural defensive responsibility to his territory and his pack, and we're turning it on with a command. That's it. And that means every dog you see, I will say, I've never got a basset hound to do this. That's the only exception I got. I've had Springer Spaniels, I've had miniature Schnauzers, I've had Jack Russells, that's easy. And
Jack Russell's, you seen it? Yeah, they're mini.
Your son has a Jack Russell, Robert.
I know.
He's like,
I hear
Yeah.
they bounce around.
they bounce a lot.
Little psychos.
Check out Capel K9 on Instagram. I got a Jack Russell doing crotch shots.
Mm-hmm.
You think that won't stop? You seen that? Yeah. You think that won't stop a big man quick? So there's not many dogs you cannot get to take this position of defense of their territory, their pack, if you simply stop and look at the dog instead of just looking at the breed and the genetics, which is nonsense. Work the dog. I did see, for those of you that saw my top 5, or our Scott top 5 books to read, one I mentioned was Schutzen Bite Work by Gary Patterson, which is absolutely the greatest book on bite work. It taught me so much. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were in Mississippi, old Derek Sizemore, American Bulldog man, had spent, I guess, a lot of time searching the internet, because it's been out of print for a long time. And I don't know if somebody who owned a copy heard me bragging on it or what, but he showed me where you could purchase this one out of print copy on the internet for $4,995. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and if I hit the lottery, I'm going to go buy that copy because it's that good a book. But I'd have to hit the lottery first.
Yeah. I thought you had 3-4 copies, you know?
I wish. I had that one carried around for 20 years, and I don't know, in the moving it got lost somewhere.
Damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, there's some good basics for guard dog training and how it starts. Some of the things we do slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be working with Daryl over Watchdog Kennel, Watchdog K9 in Morton, Mississippi. You can see him on Facebook. He's training now for the general public. He's 30-year street veteran K9 handler, I think one of the tops in the country. If you're gonna do obedience or just have a well-behaved sit, stay down dog, that's and you're in that part of the world, I'd sure give Daryl a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if there's anything else that we can do for you, don't hesitate. You can always call me. Check out our webpage, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and U.S. Postal Service.
oh, don't forget to mention our agitator got first place in obedience.
Our
Good track.
agitator. Oh yes, and hey, you've all seen our pint-sized champ, Miss Mina Scamina. She took Mama's dog and jumped in that obedience trial at the Mississippi deal, and her and Miss Traveler's almost a little older than Mina, but by God, they were a team to be reckoned with. First place. Way to go, Mina. I turned the camera on you, but you blush and get mad at me, so I won't do that. So start them young, raise them right, and you're going to be happy the rest of your life.
And that goes with dogs, too.
Yep, there you go. It sure does. Anything else? What do you think, Scott?
Start them young, raise them right. And you know what we always say, right? It's all about the dogs. Let's keep it that way. And we'll see y'all next week. Same bat
Oh,
times.
wait, we have a question
Oh,
really quick.
question.
Park break.
Derek Sizemore asked, can Daryl do bite work too?
No shit.
But he
Can what
says,
now? What was the question?
Yes.
Can Daryl train bite work too?
Well, you should
Daryl-
know you were there
Daryl
last
Thorne.
weekend.
Oh, this is a question someone had.
Oh, ask him. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's one
Darren, you don't ask that question?
one of 30-year canine
A
veteran.
customer, a guy watching.
Oh, not
That's the
Darren?
question. No.
No, if it was Darren, I was gonna.
No.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I thought-
That's what I thought you said. Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Yes, he
absolutely.
does. Yes, he does.
Daryl trains it all: bombs, explosives, bite work,
Drug detection.
drug
He's
detection.
been doing that stuff for like 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
30
On,
years.
on the road, he was actually out there doing this
Right.
with his
and
dogs.
yeah, and he wasn't just sticking with one sport and doing the same sport for 30 years. He's been dogs for 30
Been
years.
dogs 30 years out,
Yep.
out in the streets.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Highest scoring obedience score ever in Canine Pro Sports obedience with his dog Nerf. Way
Mm-hmm.
back when there was 30 and 40 dogs to compete against at every trial. So we got carried away there, Scott. Where were we?
It's all about dogs. See you next week.
Don't forget that. Bye bye.